It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
That was weird. I saw you flash like in the middle of the beginning. I don't know
I
what
think I
happened
saw
there.
that too, but then I was like, maybe it was just me. Well, I guess it wasn't just me.
It
But maybe it was
def-
just us who saw it. Maybe it wasn't.
Definitely you. It
Well,
was. I mean, I saw it. I mean, I definitely saw you
Well,
pop up. But
it could
hey,
be worse.
this is rAVe TV, the industry's only live weekly TV show. We come to you every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, and this is Gary K, and I'm with.
Steph Beckett.
And we sort of curate the things that you should care about in the industry
Yes.
right now. Make
Yes.
sure that there's a lot of news. You know, we had over 250 new product news stories, and we've shot over 2,300 videos at ISE, for example. And you know, we curated a lot of that. And in fact, today we're going to talk about ISE again. We have Brad Hinty from Extron on today, and we're going to talk about their presence at ISE. But more importantly, we're going to talk about engineering a culture of collaboration, which is something that they've really focused on since even before ISE. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm excited about today's show. I
Me
love
too.
it when we have live guests on,
Yes.
which
Yes,
meant he
we
had to
do.
get up at like 4 a.m. because he's way
Where-
over there in the east.
where is
on the
Brad?
West Coast. He's Utah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I forgot.
and I think Utah is mountain, if I remember.
I
correctly. Maybe
just always assume, I know it's not true, but I'm just like, oh, everyone in Crestron is in New Jersey.
I know, but they're not.
They're not.
That's right.
But I'm like, oh yeah, you know, how's New Jersey this time of year? Anytime I see anyone who works.
I'll tell you, if you're in New Jersey, you got like
Yeah.
pelted with like 2 feet of snow.
Yes.
It's crazy how much snow they got. I mean, like I saw pictures from Boston. They had 2.5 feet of snow. Like it's crazy how much snow they got in such a short period of time.
That's
And they're
wild.
asking like regular people to shovel the snow because there's just too much snow in all these places.
That's true. Yeah, they are. And I would say no if I lived there. 'Cause what am I?
I mean,
doing?
it's if you have nothing else to do and you like to do stuff like that, I mean, you get paid.
You
for
like
it.
to shovel.
Well, they're paying them.
No.
Yeah, they're paying them. Yeah.
Oh,
if
okay.
If you like, I don't know what they're paying them though.
It's
I
not
mean,
like a volunteer snow.
no, it's
shovel?
the city of New York. The mayor said, "Hey, we'll pay you
Oh, yes.
if you come and shovel snow." I don't know what they're paying them though. I have no idea.
Well,
but
every little bit helps.
but anyway, how's it going with you, Steph?
It's good. I saw a new movie over the weekend. I saw How to Make a Killing. Have you seen that? It's an A24. Have you seen the
I
trailer?
saw the preview for. I haven't seen the movie, no, but
It's
I-
Glenn Powell, and he is basically kind of an heir to a fortune, but there's a lot of people in line ahead of him, so he kills. Like the movie premise is him killing the other people so that he can get the money.
okay, is it good?
Yeah, it's like funny.
Okay.
It's funny, silly, like drama comedy, dramedy.
I have a question for you because you know you and I are big movie buffs, right?
Yes.
You know, and of course, there's a lot of cool movies coming out this year. I'm excited about. Hail Mary is going to be great. I read the book. That's with Ryan Gosling, and then obviously Mandalorian comes out on my birthday. Mandalorian and Grogu. But I'm wondering how much more life is there in a movie theater?
How much more life is
Like,
there?
I here's what I believe. I believe in definitely 20 years from now, but I think it's possible in 10 years from now that movie theaters will not be around and that they'll be more like plays and musicals. Like you'll go see the big movie a few times a year in a theater, so there'll be just very few of them. They'll be very expensive. Like you go and it'll cost you like $50 to go, and then everything else will be just streamed to your house. I think we're conditioning people for that, and I don't think the physical movie theater will be around.
See, I think I disagree because I think they'll be around for a long time, but I see what you mean where they won't be as many and there won't be as many theatrical releases.
Yeah, and so therefore the economy won't work, right? You can't have an economy where you don't have a continuous like for example, did you know, Steph, that in the 1940s, the average person went and saw one movie per week in the United States? Over 130 million people saw one movie a week in the 1940s.
That's wild.
It was the same way in the 1950s.
That's how I'm trying to be.
Yeah,
I see about one movie a week.
Now, 130 million people don't see a movie every 4 months.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's a whole different thing. And I think what's happened is, it's be kind of a good random thing to ask Brad, because you have 4K, soon to be 8K. You have you can watch, sports with all sorts of angles. You can see movies that are interactive. A lot of people like watching with captions on. A lot of people like pausing the movie and then going back and hearing something that they missed. You can't do that in a movie theater.
But wouldn't they have to change the entire trajectory of how the Oscars are run that way? Because don't the Oscars rely on a theatrical release?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think people care about the Oscars anymore. I think it's like, it used to be a spectacle, and I think now people forget it's even on what Sunday it's on.
I don't know. I mean, people also just don't watch live TV anymore like they used to. They stream. So
sports, pretty much it.
Yeah.
Is live TV and news, and even news, as you know, is not really watched.
It's a dwindling. It's a very weird area to be working in right now. That's for sure.
But the good thing is, our technology is going to be around either way, right? Because either you're doing it in the house, you're doing an exhibit, and we have InfoComm coming up. InfoComm 2026 coming up in June. It's late this year. It's like the second and a half week of June.
Yeah.
So it's the latest I remember it being in a long time. And we have a code. If you go register and you use code rAVE26, RAVE 26, that gets you free into the show. We've done it every year. A lot of people like using our code because it's easy to remember and accessible. And the show is in Las Vegas this year, and the convention center is somewhat still on construction, but all the parts that we'll be using are all finished.
Yes, because we're not in West this year. We're in Central and North.
Yeah,
so no 10-minute walk between halls, people. It's a blessing. We just walk into the other hall, basically. It's a nice 2-minute walk rather than a 12-minute walk.
Yeah, and I'm sure Crestron's happy about that because the whole thing was split apart. And they went one hall and then another hall, try to figure out where to go the last 2 times that InfoComm was there. But let's have you check this piece out from Crestron. We're going to show you 5 new products that they launched, and then we're going to bring Brad Hinty on, the Executive Vice President of Customer Success and Marketing. Alrighty. I think we're bringing Brad on. There we go. There he is. Hey, Brad.
Hey, guys.
Hey, could you hear us?
I can hear you. Yep.
Yeah, but did you hear us when we were talking earlier?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, we couldn't see you, so I didn't know if you could hear us or not. But what do you think of my synopsis about the movie theater?
I think that I think there's a risk there, but it's not unlike the discussion that happened related to trade shows post-COVID, right? Because the technologies to connect digitally became so good. People said, well, are you ever going to do a trade show again? But I think that when you root it actually into the human behaviors and what people are looking for, there are elements of it that will persist and survive, right? I think you're right in that there's a couple things happening. People's attention spans are much shorter. They're used to, as Steph brought up, this kind of the second screen notion. So they never just pay attention just to the feature film that's happening there. But they still want a connection and a shared social experience, right? I don't go to movies just to go watch the movie anymore. I go because my friends want to go, right? Or the kids want to go, and we go to see it together. And so there's this different need and social connection. It's actually not unlike a sporting event, at least for like me. I'm not a huge sports fan, but I'll go to a sporting event every time I'm invited because it is a social experience and all of that, right? So I think there's both the movie theater experience will continue to shift and change, right? Because people want that connection of
Yeah.
with other people and something to go and do.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with the social experience side of it, and I think theaters that have added bars and food and other things like that are really smart. You know, Alamo Drafthouse is
I love,
started
you
that.
know, I love the Alamo. That's where I
Yeah, I know you
see
do.
like
And
9
I
out of
think-
10 of every movie I go to per month.
Yeah, but I think that that it's so easy now from you know. I don't know that was certainly. I think we all agree we're never going to get back to where we were. Like it's
No.
not going to go back to where people.
Nope.
Like I was surprised when I read that data point that you know in the 1940s, the 50s, the 60s as well, 130 million people were going to a movie every single week. When I lived in California, I would go to 2 movies a week. Like it was literally that was a thing to do.
Well,
culturally.
but at that time, you know, because I, you know, 15 years ago or something, you know, we went regularly too, and frankly, I don't think I've been to a movie in 6 months, right?
Yeah.
But at that time, for me, you know, I didn't love where I lived, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are other factors too
Yeah.
that help push that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think the other one is a lot of movies have gotten so long. It feels like an all-day commitment
Yeah.
to go watch a movie.
So
sometimes,
there is a
right?
technological thing that we should point out because I think this is kind of a geek out kind of thing that I love because I used to teach a class for InfoComm on all this technology and how we were converting to digital cinemas. But the reason why movies are long now is because there are no physical gatekeepers on movies.
Yeah.
Meaning you used to have to ship a giant reel to a
Yep.
movie theater that had a film in it,
Yep.
and each one of those canisters could only fit about an hour and 50
Yep.
minutes of film. So they would shoot movies to be less than an hour and 50 minutes because if you made it longer, you had to ship 2 of those canisters, which literally cost twice as much money to UPS and FedEx.
Yep.
So it was literally a physical thing. When we went to a digital medium, then you could make the movie any length you want, and it kind of got out of control.
Yeah. So, do you use that as an opportunity to speak to your students about the concept of creative constraints?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
how that
it's-
actually pushes you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you know, I remember when Twitter came out, it was an art form to actually make a statement on Twitter. I loved it.
I know, me too, right? It required thought, and you know, and
Yeah.
it was you had to be really
But now
clever.
the lazy people go 1 of 7, 2 of 7, 3 of 7. Like that's not creative. Like say your thing in you know in a few minutes, not in a few hours.
Nostalgic for the old days of Twitter.
That's right. But anyway, look, hey, how was ISE? We actually have some pictures of your booth at ISE. We're gonna.
We do.
put
Yeah,
up
y'all
here
were
for
busy.
talking to you.
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy. It
how
was
was it?
great. I love ISE. I think it is certainly one of my favorite shows because of the global audience. You know, increasingly we're seeing people from all over the world at this show. It gives us such an opportunity. We have so much square footage to really demonstrate what we're doing. We did a few really exciting things ahead of the event as well. As we talked about, we launched 5 new products
Yes.
just 2 weeks before. And then Monday night, we held an event. We called it the True Blue Summit. 400 of our closest friends got in a room. We talked with Microsoft. We talked with FC Barcelona. We went and hung out at the FC Barcelona Museum. And, you know, it was just a great opportunity to engage in a slightly different way with that audience, give them an early access to hands-on on the product. But, you know, I love it because you get to talk to so many end customers, so many partners, so many technology partners in the industry leaders like yourselves as well. So I always get really excited about ISE.
Yeah, no, and I went to the True Blue Summit the night
You
before the
did?
show.
Yep.
That was a lot of fun, and I got to like see the keynote conversations that you were having with the folks at Microsoft and with FC Barcelona, and that was really cool just to kind of see firsthand the work that you guys are doing in the wild. You know, it's like one thing, like of course I've been to many conference rooms in my life and seen Crestron technology there, but to see it at like such a wide breadth, like being used in such a big space, it was really cool.
Well, I think the thing that I really enjoy about the conversations I get to have with customers is that, well, and the point you made about, well, we've been in so many conference rooms, But the cool thing is it's the same technology
Yeah.
that gets applied in a conference room or in a big stadium like Camp Nou. But the conversations about why they invested, what they're looking for, right? And actually, it ties back to the conversation we were just having about movie theaters, right? They're investing $1.5 billion to redo their stadium because 60% of their audience, they're not fans.
Yeah.
They're not like diehard fans. They're
Mm-hmm.
there for an experience, right?
Yeah.
And they have to be able to deliver an experience like that at scale, with fewer people to manage that kind of a thing. And so I love seeing the way the technologies that we've built and continue to rely on are unlocking new capabilities for organizations like FC Barcelona or anybody else.
So
Absolutely.
you talked about introducing 5 new products. I mean, obviously, your this product group was focused heavily on collaboration. I know that's a big. I mean, like I don't even think Crestron was in the discussion for collaboration much 5 years ago.
No.
Y'all have made a transformation, but most important, like of those products, the one that I think is unique and key to me, it seems like, is the compute device, because you're you have a purpose-built computer that just does one thing, which sort of like solves a lot of the IT issues, but also makes it much more reliable, I would guess.
Yep, it does. It makes it more reliable. It's designed for our channel and for the way it gets deployed. I mean, we talked about one of the sleeper hits in the booth was the mounting bracket, right? I mean, it's like we knew it would be important and people would appreciate that. But, people are taking the computer on and off the wall 500 times a day, right? Because it is so simple, toolless, right? It's those thoughtful things that we poured into the way that we designed this. Well, yes, it's a computer, but it is designed to enable this kind of a collaboration. And ultimately what we are doing is building something that can become infrastructure for collaboration within the business that they can then scale to all of the spaces. And we talk about the culture of collaboration, and people can say, oh, that's just corporate woo-woo. We're talking about culture, blah, 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 right? And when we talk about it, we're not talking about things like foosball and free lunches, right? We're talking about the way people do their work today.
Right.
And how can you enable that so there's no friction? They don't have to think about it. They can just get on and do their job, right?
Yeah.
And that's what builds that culture of collaboration. And so we built these devices. We engineered them specifically to solve those kinds of scaling needs and that consistency that they need.
I think that lands. I think that message really lands, honestly, especially because I feel like you are backing it up with technology meant and able to actually help people with the way that they work. Like, I think that it would be really easy to just say, we have this cool tagline and leave it at that. But I like that you guys are really digging in and sitting with us and talking about what that actually means.
Yeah, we try. We internally actually, right? We try. And look, at the end of the day, Crestron is fundamentally an engineering company, but we have to convey our story. And so we spend a lot of work to make sure, how do we convey the technical capabilities in a way that's technically defensible, but that's catchy and easy to understand, right? And anything we say has to be defensible all the way down, right? And that's actually one of the things that I really appreciate about ISE. You can put any tagline up there, but when you put a tagline up there that then you hear people repeat, and that you can show a demo and say, this is a data point for what we mean, this is a proof point for why we say this, right? And I've got sales teams saying it, sales engineers saying that, dealers saying it to their end customers, then it feels like we're actually moving the industry forward, because that is part of the point too. It's not just, we don't go to the shows to just hawk our wares, right? It's actually to build an industry and an ecosystem where everyone is delivering what customers needs. Dealers are building businesses to deliver on those. We're building a stronger business by selling more product and investing more in R&D, right? That's the point of shows like this.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things that you showed was auto measure. It's so simple. But it's really, really cool. And I think of that as an example when people are like, is AI actually helpful in our industry? I'm like, yes. And I always use that as an example now of like
Right.
how AI can
Yep.
actually help
Yep.
someone in a
Yep.
room, rather than just being like a fun little thing that people throw into a product for fun. Because I think that that's kind of where we're at in the industry right now in terms of AI, but you guys were actually very intentional with that, and I think that was very cool.
I saw this hilarious meme a while ago, not too long ago actually, and the headline was "Legacy vendors trying to slap AI into things," and it was basically a bar of soap with a liquid soap
Right.
dispenser pump shoved into the middle of it, right? And you know, I think you're right. I think Auto Measure is an excellent example of we had already deployed and built around visual AI in these AI technologies. And so now we're simply applying it to yet another function that makes it simpler to deploy. And I think this is where we'll continue to see great value from AI is taking that capability and applying it to how do I make it simpler to deploy? How do I make it simpler to manage or monitor, you know, the products that I have out there, right? What are these techniques that I can use? And so you'll see iterative expansion around those things, and it is quite exciting, right?
That's awesome.
Well, I appreciate you coming on live. I know it means you have to get up really early in the morning. Don't you have to get up like 5 o'clock or something like that?
For you two, I'll do anything.
Are you? Let me ask you about ISE or InfoComm really quick. Are you? How are you feeling about InfoComm? Because InfoComm's kind of been up and down since the pandemic. It's been kind of a show we don't know what to expect. Whereas ISE seems to have outpaced itself prior to, to numbers beyond what we had even before the pandemic. InfoComm seems to be much narrower now, a U.S. based or North American certainly based show. What do you think about the show being in Vegas this year?
Yeah, I think you're right. We have that sense as well, but it does feel like there's still a good amount of energy. We're looking forward to it. We're actually investing a lot in. We have some cool stuff that I have a call with them in 2 days, a really fun and interesting concept. But yeah, we really like InfoComm. What we've seen is a narrowing of who comes. And so while it may not be the same numbers as ISE, the quality of the people that are there are really high, right? And we've seen some integrators where they might have brought 100 people, they're bringing the 50 people that really matter, right? And customers, instead of 6 people, they're bringing 2 people that really matter. But the fact that the people that really matter are there, that's the important part. So yeah, we're excited for it.
I love the show. I think
I
think the show's better than it was before.
Yep.
I know a lot of people don't agree with me on this, but the reason why I think it's better is that you have to be more creative because you have it's like once a year the same people are going to the show. You're not getting a whole bunch of new people, and the way to keep their attention is to do something creative. You can't just open up a booth and say, "Here's our new products." And I think it benefits more creative people and companies to be in that scenario rather than just drawing them in with the newest stuff.
Well, I think the other side of it too, and Gary, I watched a video of you, and this was a few months ago, when you led a panel 10 years ago or something with George, right, Feldstein, and and it was a great industry discussion. And I challenged the ISE, like we need a venue for that. And InfoComm has started to bring that last year with Vision 2030. Right. And Jen and team are very open to those kinds of conversations. And we need a venue to have those kinds of debates and discussions. And so I think you're right.
I love doing that. I wish they'd do that again. And I haven't seen the video of that, but I remember doing the panel. And it was actually a little longer than 10 years ago, I think. But I remember on the panel, I was talking about AV over IP, and one of the panelists said, "Well, it hadn't happened yet. You've been talking about it for years, and it hadn't happened yet. Look at it now. Like AV over IP is all over the place now. I mean, so I like doing that kind of stuff. It was very future focused, and it was cool to have leaders at that level. I didn't even know that video exists, but that'd be
well. The clip, in fairness, I didn't see the end to end. I saw all of the highlights of George's portions, but I think the important thing is that every business owner that is contributing to this industry needs to go there and feel like, wow, this is an industry that's growing. This is one I can continue to get value from. This is an industry I want to be associated with. Right, ISE delivers that. InfoComm continues to deliver that, and those are the reasons I think that they're really important to be at.
And like you said, Brad, like what manufacturers are looking to get out of it is qualified leads. And while they're not getting as many leads as maybe they were 10, 15 years ago, they are getting qualified leads, like really good leads. And I think like quality over quantity is going to win every time.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Brad, if people want to connect with you on LinkedIn, do you actually pay attention to that?
I do. Yeah.
And then they should connect with you on LinkedIn.
Yep,
I'm just
that's right.
joking with you because he and I talk over LinkedIn most of the time.
I know, it's
That's
like,
how we
Gary,
actually communicate.
You have my phone number. You can text.
I know that, but it's weird isn't it weird how we message mostly over LinkedIn rather than over the phone? But anyway, yeah, you can connect with Brad Hinty at on LinkedIn. Just type in his name, you'll find him. But hey, Brad, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it,
Tim.
and thanks for getting up early, and thanks for what you do for the industry. Obviously, Crestron's been a centerpiece at InfoComm for many, many years, and we look forward to hearing about your discussion with InfoComm. Maybe you can come on before the show and tell us a little bit about what you're going to do.
Okay. If I get
Right.
them to agree to my crazy idea, then I
Okay.
will totally do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll have you on before the show, and thanks for joining us. Hey, Steph.
Yeah.
Tell
Good
me
to
about this ISE Foundation. 'Cause
Yeah,
I saw
this
the press
is-
release, but I didn't read
It's
it.
interesting. It's interesting. It came out yesterday, I want to say.
Yeah, it
So
was
yes,
yesterday afternoon. Yeah.
the ISE Foundation, basically this is a new initiative, but it's aimed at extending ISE's impact beyond just February, beyond just the show.
Yeah.
So it's all about workforce development, startup support, which ISE has been really big about the past at least like 2 to 3 years. They have like a huge startup section at the show now, and also creating this level of community engagement that lasts all year long. So
Okay.
I think what the idea is that they are trying to make ISE more than just this one-time event that happens every year. You know, it's very similar to what Avixa does. Avixa is known now as not only the organization that puts on InfoComm, Avixa does stuff all year long, and I think ISE is kind of trying to do the same thing, but in Europe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. There was also a story.
You
that
said,
came in-
okay, I'll take that.
There was also a story that came in last week that talked about Nissan Stadium, where
Yes.
the Titans play, the Tennessee Titans play,
Well-
and Guitar Center's the official gear provider through Audiovisual Design Group, so AVDG is the official integrator for the venue. You know, they wanted to promote that. Obviously, Guitar Center's the owner of that, and I think that's kind of an interesting partnership there, and I think you're going to
Yes.
see more of these types of things pop up.
Well, I added that story to this week because you wrote an article like in 2022 that was like, don't knock Guitar
Yeah.
Center. They're going to be really big in our industry.
Yeah.
And so then when I saw you write this story, I was like, oh, I'll add it because look at you.
Yeah,
You
I
were
mean, I
right.
remember people were beating up Guitar Center. I think they even may have come close to declaring bankruptcy, but they kind of reformed and focused on sort of the custom market. And you know, I was just basically saying back then, you know, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with eventually because they got a bunch of smart people there. But speaking of smart people, ViewSonic has a new pre-configured all-in-one LED. I think a lot of people know ViewSonic only for the foldable LED and don't realize that they have a bunch of all-in-ones, different platforms, right? Depends on what kind of LED technology you want to use. So check out this new one that launched at ISE.
You're muted. Oh, there you go.
And yeah, we were talking about 8K earlier, Steph, and Extron just introduced a 8K HDMI switcher with audio de-embedding, which basically allows you to strip audio out and send it through a program audio system or distributed audio system in the building. It's a 2-input switcher. It's very, very small. Fits in I think a 1/3 rack size space. It's HDMI and it handles 8K signals. You know, it's interesting, and of course you can handle the audio through HDMI, or you can break it out separately through the box. Has RS-232 control. It's the SW2 HD 8K. Steph, you and I were talking earlier about movies, and I think 8K is, you know, yet another resolution that's going to start mattering when we start seeing content in 8K. And we're starting to see productions, television productions and movie productions filmed in a higher resolution so that you can actually use 8K. So it'd be interesting to see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really quick, I wanted to go back. We have a pre-recorded interview because Shane is on the West Coast. I didn't want to make him get up at 5 a.m. With him at ViewSonic, but he's talking to me about dvLED and about their dvLED certification program, which is going to help you learn how to deploy that. So check this out. It's coming.
Hey everyone, for the next segment of rAVe TV, I'm bringing on our next guest, Shane Roma from ViewSonic. First of all, Shane, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing well. So I'm excited to have you on here today because we're going to be talking a little bit about DirectView LED. And I want to start by talking a little bit about DirectView LED adoption. That's something that you guys are really talking about at ViewSonic, and it's being accelerated across corporate, retail, education, public spaces. We're seeing it everywhere now. So what gaps in the market did ViewSonic see there that made like a formal installation certification program kind of necessary right now? Because I know that you guys have and that's what you guys are focusing on as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So kind of the market gap, even separate from the installation program, was DirectView LED has made a lot of improvements over the past couple of years. It's been around for a long time, but historically it's been fairly complex, fairly expensive, and can be a bit intimidating. A lot of folks just either had a bad experience with a DirectView LED install or don't even look at it because of the complexities and how difficult it can be to spec it, how difficult it can be to install it, to service it, etc. So the gap in the market we saw is as the technology's been improving and increasing and the price has been coming down, really where ViewSonic is focusing is on the simplicity of it. And that's why I think the adoption is also increasing, aside from the cost and the availability, but also the simplicity of it. So through ViewSonic, we filled that gap by focusing on all-in-one solutions, making it so that everything's holistic, one-stop shop for both the cabinets, the tiles, the controller, etc. So that's opened up DirectView LED to a lot of partners that otherwise wouldn't have looked at them. So the reason we did the certification program is with that access that they now have, the opportunities that they now have, we wanted to then provide that education to them so that they can learn, hey, what are the best practices to install it? The best way, of course, you could find out in the field, but that's not always the best. As simple as our direct views are and all-in-one direct views are to install, there's still a bit of nuance to it in terms of flatness of walls, making sure everything's mounted, everything's looking good. All of our products come pre-calibrated and pre-mapped, so you don't have to worry about the software, but the physical installation is really where things can get a little tricky. So what the certification program, kind of the problem to solve was, hey, learn that in a classroom environment with our experts, with our field solutions architects who have been on many job sites, get hands-on experience, and learn the best way to do that so that when you do go on site to your customers, you're giving them that best experience.
So for integrators who are really familiar, who are watching and are familiar with LCD video walls and projection systems, what are the biggest technical differences there or common pitfalls, like you kind of hinted to, when installing dvLED that this training really helps them with?
Yeah, great question too. So traditional LCD walls are typically very heavy and they can be a bit tricky to install and even trickier to service. DirectView LED, again, there are nuances for the install, but once you've gotten it up, it's much easier to maintain. If
Okay.
a tile goes out, it's very different than if a display were to go out, and you have to figure out how to unmount that and put that back on. They're also a lot lighter than the LCDs. But it is different in the way it installs. Instead of using display mounts, there's mounting rails, mounting systems that do need to be learned. And again, it's really that flatness of the wall or putting proper backing and things like that, as well as power requirements. Typically with LCD walls, it's a lot of smaller power connections, whereas direct LED tends to be a little bigger, 20 amp or even 30 amp. So making sure prepping, a lot of the course teaches, measure twice, cut once sort of thing. The more you prep, the easier the install is going to go. And then projector, of course, it's just a totally different world. Instead of needing to figure out where to mount the projector, the screen, the motors, things like that, it's a much simpler install. You've got one spot to put it. And then again, the maintenance, you're not worrying about the lamps burning out. You're not worrying about the screen motor burning out, having to replace it. Just much easier to maintain long-term for the direct view.
So the program includes the 2 days of instructor-led hands-on training. What exactly does that look like for those who attend, and what skills can they expect to leave with?
Yeah, so the course is targeted towards those that have some installation experience, but not necessarily direct LED experience. So they should be familiar with how to use tools and work on walls and things like that. But it's led by one of our field solutions architects. These are folks that have been with the company 10 or 20 years. And they've been on our DirectView LED installs. They go on site as part of our guided installation or installation supervision service for DirectView LED that's included with all of our DirectView LEDs. So they've seen it all. So they're teaching the course, and it's a combination of classroom style learning and hands-on experience, and kind of go back and forth. Do some classroom style, and then students will go and physically put up the mounting rails, put up the cabinets, align them, and then go back and forth. What did you learn? What were some of the pitfalls, information sharing, and then back there. And over the course of the 2 days, they will put up an actual video wall, an actual ViewSonic DirectView LED, and get it looking perfect, as well as common troubleshooting as well. So they'll put it into like a failed state, and then students will need to be able to properly troubleshoot it hands-on to get it to be that perfect video wall.
That's cool. And beyond technical knowledge, how does becoming certified actually benefit integrators from a business standpoint, whether through, new revenue opportunities or partnership advantages with ViewSonic? What else do they get?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So it allows them to market themselves as having, ViewSonic DirectView LED certified installation staff. And so that's going to give another layer of confidence to their customers, because it's not just our reseller partners that may be intimidated by DirectView LED. There's also end users that have had a lot of poor experiences or maybe a little intimidated as well. So it gives that extra confidence that when they're reaching out, that, hey, they've got that certification, they know the best practices. And then when it comes to like referrals or anything like that, they're going to obviously get preferential referrals to say like, hey, we're going to be looking for our DirectView LED installation certified groups in order to help with these. So it opens up new opportunities. Also, again, you learn in the classroom environment, those installs also go much quicker, they go much smoother, less return trips. So there's some maybe hidden benefits there too.
Absolutely. And the first sessions are going to be in California. So are there plans yet for expanding that program throughout this year in terms of location, in terms of availability, or future levels of training?
Yeah, definitely. So we had our first class in December of last year, and that was in our Brea headquarters. We plan to have one there about every quarter in California, so there'll be a regular cadence to that. But yes, we will be taking this on the road as well. So we're about to announce a few on the road courses as well, so be on the lookout for that. We're very close to being able to share those so that we can come to where our installers are for them to be able to take this course.
Awesome. And last question for you. In the meantime, before that announcement comes out, where can people find any other information they might need about ViewSonic and about dvLED and everything else you guys offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website's going to be one of the best resources. We've added quite a bit to it over the past year or so. We have a fairly expansive FAQ. We have a lot of information, obviously, about our products. But then we pride ourselves on having strong partnerships with our partners, with our integrator partners or end user partners. So reaching out to a ViewSonic representative is another great way to do it. We have a design consultation service where the same folks that are teaching this class, we can get on a call with with our partners to go over, hey, what's the job looking like, or even just general kind of information. So I would say our website is a great starting point, but if you have any questions or want to dive in deeper, reach out to your ViewSonic representative and we can set up a call.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shane.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Shout out to Shane, shout out to ViewSonic for that interview, and definitely go to ViewSonic's website if you want to learn more about dvLED or about opportunities for obtaining that certification. Gary had to run. He teaches class. He's a man of many talents, of many jobs. So he had to run. So you're just stuck with me for these last few minutes. Before we go, I'm going to play you a quick video from our other sponsor and partner, Shure. And this is on the one and only IntelliMix Bar Pro. Is a bar that moves barriers. Check this out.
Every team deserves an extraordinary meeting experience, but sometimes obstacles get in the way. That's why we created the IntelliMix Bar Pro. With powerful video performance for more clarity, and with AI camera framing that keeps everyone in focus, so no one's left out of the picture. Designed for IT, secure, cloud managed, simple. The bar that removes barriers.
All right, 2 more things before I let you go. I know this is a long episode today, but we're yappers. You guys get it at this point. I've been doing this for years. So, all right, please go fill this temperature check survey out. This is our February 2026 one. This is on AI and ethics and security and data privacy. I'm just kind of trying to figure out, are these concerns real or are they just abstract? So I would love if you guys go fill this out. It's 3 questions. It's embedded right in that story. And as always, we pick 2 random respondents every month to win 2 $50 Amazon gift cards. So please go do that. Appreciate you. And then the last thing that I would like to talk about is we have an upcoming virtual event on March 4th. And this is with our friends at AppSpace. And basically what this is kind of like all about orchestrating a hardware agnostic workplace. It's March 4th. It's at 1 p.m. And this is how you can learn about how a software first, hardware agnostic platform can actually unify your existing ecosystem and create this connected experience for your employees and simpler operations for your behind the scenes team, among a lot of other benefits. So definitely sign up for that. It's going to be like an hour. It's going to have David Fleck and Steve Gray from AppSpace on with me, and we're going to have a great time. So definitely make sure and register for that at lavnch.com. Okay, I think that's it from me for now. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of rAVe TV. Thank you to ViewSonic and to Shane. Thank you to Crestron and to Brad, and thank you to Shure as always. And thank you to all of you who are watching or listening. Okay, bye.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.